Oh, hi.
Oh, shit. I talked over your oh, hi.
It's okay. You can do that.
Can I do that?
There's no fucking rules, Greg.
Cool, good. We
this
own this
Gamescast,
show.
so we don't even... we're making this up as we go.
Topic 4, but it's on Topic 4's days, usually on Topic 3 days, because this is a supersized episode of the Gamescast.
This is a weird world that we're living in. Steve Gaynor is back. He was on the Gamescast a couple weeks ago.
Sure.
But now you have new questions for him, except you don't, because you weren't on this one.
I wasn't?
Maybe you were.
No, I think I was. I'm pretty sure I was on this one.
You know what?
Yeah.
In fact, you were.
Because I think Nick tapped out at the last second, right?
That's what it was.
He was terrified. He saw Steve come in. He got all scared of him.
Yeah.
Steve Gaynor, of course, ladies and gentlemen, founder of Fulbright, made Gone Home, now working on Tacoma. We give him a lot of shit in this interview for 2 reasons. Number 1, he delayed Tacoma. That I'm not upset about. Number 2, he didn't put a platinum trophy in Gone Home. So right now, I'm going to finish a sentence or two. Then you're going to hit pause on this, and you're going to tweet at Steve Gaynor. I love you, Steve Gaynor. And he's at Fulbright. I love you at Fulbright on Twitter, even though you didn't put a platinum in Gone Home.
Don't make this a thing.
It's too late. Once it's said, it's a thing. I love you at Fulbright, even though you didn't put a platinum in Gone Home, period. XOXO, Gossip Girl, parentheses, Greg. At Game Over Greggy, period. I mean Greg Miller. And I'm sure you're going to run out of characters.
Trending Gamer 2015.
Trending Gamer 2015, South by Southwest, Most Entertaining Online Personality of 2016, Toys to Life Ambassador of the Year 2016. You might want to just write all this on your phone in Notepad, screen cap that, and tweet that at Fulbright.
Leave a couple blanks, like underlined spaces, because we know Greg's going to keep winning more shit.
It's true. I'm going to keep winning more awards.
He can scrap.
Thank you, Kevin.
Thanks.
No more 9/11s. Minorities are good. That's my presidential thing. If you don't watch, I guess if you don't watch Conor Greg Live out of context, that seems kind of weird.
To be fair, Greg,
I left out the part where
even
I'm like,
in context, it is weird.
I left out the part about burning people alive.
Don't do that.
I thought we were done with that.
Enjoy the interview.
Steve Gaynor. What's up, everybody? It's me, Greg Miller. That's Nick. That's Steve Gaynor from Fulbright. We are here on youtube.com/kindoffunnygames to talk to Steve and see what's happening.
See, I was pretty. That was mine.
I thought
was
there
accurate.
were 2 Greg Millers in the room for a second.
But before we do that, we're going to start with
twins.
Lightning Reaction Game of the Year. Now, are you familiar with Lightning Reaction Game of the Year?
No, and I feel like I'm about to enter hell.
You ready to play?
I don't want to play this again.
I know you don't want to, but that's not how. That's not how Lightning Reaction works. All right, so you want? I'm gonna hit the button.
I'm pretty sure this is going to lead to arthritis later in life.
I'm gonna hit the button. This button I'm gonna hit. It's gonna turn red and play a creepy song.
Yeah.
When the song stops, it'll turn green. You want to buzz in on your thing and be the first person to buzz in.
Okay.
If you are not the first person to buzz in, you will be penalized.
Right.
If you buzz in early, you are penalized.
Okay. Penalized. So wait, that's like this thing turns green?
Yeah, you'll see it.
Okay.
Greg always wins.
Not always. Most of the time.
Damn it, I hate this game. I fucking hate it.
God fucking damn it, I lost that one. You got in my head saying I always win.
Nice try, Greg.
Thank you. Hey,
It's,
Steve.
I will say the batteries on this are going. Because that shock wasn't nearly as bad as the first time I did it, where my entire arm went numb for about a half an hour.
Holy shit.
Do we have more batteries, Kev? Kevin's on it. Don't worry.
Well, I shouldn't have said anything.
Yep, you shouldn't have. You screwed that one
So
up.
wait, did both of you guys get shocked?
Yeah.
Oh, everyone who doesn't win gets shocked. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. There can only ever be one winner.
Oh.
There you go. Fix that guy up for me, please. Since it'll just 1v1 Nick. See, he can get whatever.
YouTube.com/kindoffunnygames.
There you go. You nailed it. Tacoma,
Hey, everybody.
the game that's never coming out.
Before we get into that, I told you this earlier off camera, but I want to say it again. I actually finally got a chance to sit down and play Gone Home, and it fucking blew me away. And I loved it. And I was like, I just wanted to thank you for making that game. It was really, really fun.
Well,
if anyone out there has not played it,
yeah,
I can go get it. It is great.
You have no excuse anymore.
No excuse.
Yeah.
Unless you respect trophies.
Shots fired again.
That worked for Kev.
Yeah, I know. If I can get Kev, I get the audience.
Yeah, because like you hadn't played it because you don't play PC games as much.
No, yeah,
right.
that's why. So when it came to PS4, I was like, oh, okay, I'll give this a shot.
Yeah. So yeah, if you've heard of it or whatever and you haven't gotten a chance to play it, it's on Xbox and PS4 now. So yeah, give it a shot. Thank you so much for taking the time to check it out.
There, it was my pleasure.
I'm really glad you liked it.
Absolutely my pleasure.
I don't think we've ever really talked about it.
We haven't?
No, I know that you liked it.
Yeah,
but did you go in not knowing anything?
Zero.
So what did you think for the first part of the game?
I think that means that you empirically don't watch Greg's content.
Oh no,
No, I mean I knew enough about it to know kind of I don't want to spoil it for people who haven't played
Right.
it in the audience, but
Seriously, if you haven't played it yet, fuck you. I don't know how many times I got to talk about this game. I'm buying this game for kids.
Right.
Come on. Clearly, I like it.
It's everybody's Christmas gift.
That was the one. Did you see when I broke this kid's heart on Twitter?
Which
one
one?
of our fans tweeted at me, and it was like, I see Gone Home's on PS4. I tweeted out, the Gone Home's on PS4 now, yeah. And he's like, I see it's on there. Is it worth my time? And I'm like, no, I've just been talking about it for 3 years because it's a piece of garbage. And then he deleted his Twitter, and then it became a whole thing.
No.
Yeah.
well, that's what he gets. No, I knew sort of the rough like character dynamics of it, like
Okay.
what it was going to be based off of. But going into it, I was like, whoa, this has a. At first, I'm like, this is a really kind of kooky, not kooky, a spooky.
Yeah.
Kind of maybe
It's a comedy.
this is kooky. Like Mr. Roper's there hanging out with Jack Tripper. No, I didn't really know what to make of it, but the ambiance that it sets right off the bat and the tone that it sets is really awesome. And it kind of draws you into the mystery of what's happening. And at first, I'm like, okay, is this going to be a mystery, or is I thought this was more about the relationship dynamics between these two people? And then you just get sucked in, and then by the end of it, it really is just a nice, like, I don't want to say payoff because that seems like the wrong term for it.
Sure, yeah.
It's just a nice sort of you just feel, oh god,
It's the end of a journey.
It is.
It's a bittersweet end of the journey.
It's very bittersweet.
Yeah.
And it was cool. And I actually went. I think I played it and then was like, wait a minute, no, I got it. Wait, what? Like the ending kind of like. It kind of had such an impact on me that I'm like, I'm gonna go back and do it again. I kind of went back and like,
You're like, I can change this. I can change this.
Well, because
if I get to the room faster.
because I wasn't paying attention at the beginning to some of the things that you find in the front room that you come in. So
Yep,
I'm like,
yep, yep.
I'm gonna restart this and I think it actually, if I remember correctly, it resets you, and I kind of went back to the
You go back to the main menu.
The main menu and
Yeah.
kind of went back. So it was cool just to kind of tie that in. I was like, oh, this is such good. Really, it's good writing when you look at it because a lot of the setup was there for you, and you don't get that until it comes full circle and all those threads come together at the end. Which that's the thing I admire most about it. I was like, God, it's like Gaynor. Like he weaved a good tale.
That was the funny thing, and I don't think we've talked about this about me when I went back and did the playthrough on PlayStation 4. That was my first time playing it again since PC. Because it was one of those games. The first time I finished it, I was like, that was my story, and that's awesome.
Right.
But I remember, and it kind of sounds funny. It kind of feels like when you go back to like your elementary school, and you're like, I remember these desks being so much bigger. When I went back and was playing it this time, knowing everything, like I remember there being so much clutter of so many things I picked up that didn't matter. When in reality, everything I pick up in that game matters. But in the beginning, on my PC playthrough, I had no idea.
Right.
I remember, I remember picking up the photo of Lonnie and just like, whatever. This isn't. What am I looking for? You know what I mean? You put it all down, and then to play through it again, you're like, oh fuck, right? Like from the beginning, you've been telling me all these things.
Yeah, the game is the same. Like it's the same stuff in it every time you play. It's not like randomized or anything. But I don't think I've ever talked to anybody who played it more than once and didn't like discover new things the second time they play. Either because they just missed it the first time, or because they're like, oh, I didn't realize that like had a connection to something. And it's cool to hear people, kind of like go back through with some foreknowledge and get what the implications are. So yeah, thanks for playing through it for the second time in 3 years.
No problem. It's a pleasure.
I haven't played through it now. I'm gonna rock Tacoma.
Yeah.
I'm gonna beat the shit out of that game when it comes out because now I know what to expect.
Yeah. You're gonna overanalyze everything in Tacoma, looking around, doing everything. Talk to us about Tacoma.
All right.
You delayed it this week, and I'm giving you joshing. I don't mind. Take your time with it. Make it great.
Yeah.
How hard of a?
Well, it's because I'm just gonna.
You're gonna put it out there.
No, we came, talked to you guys.
Yeah.
It's going to take us a while to get that platinum trophy in.
Thank you. It's
we
worth it.
We couldn't do it this year with
And
that.
I know.
And I was like, we're going to ship. I was like, we're going to ship it 2016. We can't get the platinum. I'm going to ship. And I was like, but Greg will be so sad.
Yep, it's true.
I hope
if you can hold off and get it, you can push it to 2019 if you get on the PlayStation Vita. You do whatever you need to do to make that happen.
Well, because the thing is, we're launching on Xbox, so like figuring out how to get a platinum trophy on Xbox is like hard. But we're going to be the first.
You're going to be the first to do it. Somehow it popped. They're talking about connecting the networks.
Oh my God.
So it could just be that all of a sudden you ping and you got it. You figured out. You did the way to do it.
We basically, we were showing it last year, came around and showed the stuff we were working on. And between then and now, we had people that we know play it. We had, people in the press play it. And there were things that we were like, okay, we've pushed what we're doing, this far. And if we just take that and be like, okay, well, that's the game. Well, let's just finish it. It was like pointing towards the stuff we really wanted to talk about, but wasn't really addressing it fully. You know what I mean?
Sure,
it was sort
sure.
of like we got it as far as we did, and we were like, oh, okay, we're doing this like augmented reality stuff. We're doing like stuff with gravity. What do we like? Now it's clear this is actually what's important about it, and we need to figure out how to like push further on like what you do as a player and how the game works to support like actually what we're trying to say about those things, and not just have it be like our first idea for what we're going to put on screen. And so like that, you know, it's the kind of thing where it's like, if we had been at a point where we're like, oh, our first idea is good enough, just finish it.
Yeah.
That would have been great. But you're not
It's
always,
rarely the case though in game making, isn't it?
You're not always lucky enough to have that. So we gave it the time it needed to be like, what are we really doing with like these augmented reality scenes and how you relate to them, et cetera, et cetera. And now we're at a point where we're like, this is the thing that this is what the game wants to be, like what it's trying to get us to make, and now we're making it, and we got to make the rest of it. So yep, spring 2017.
What I liked about your announcement, and maybe I was just reading between the lines too much, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but was you talked about the fact that you know shared it with friends and other devs and whatever, and they had played it, and you took the feedback and we're going this way with it. And what I loved about that statement is that it's a snapshot that you can compare to Gone Home, because you talked about it in your interview with me over on youtube.com/kindoffunnygames.
Oh, yeah.
Where you said that, I was like, when did you know you had something with Gone Home? And you're like, well, we sent it out to our friends and devs and they all wanted more.
Yeah.
And so to see that now, not that this is like see that you now get the opposite reaction, or not maybe the opposite of like, fuck this game, I don't want to play it.
No, but
you know, that there was something there on those play tests where you're like, well, now I know that I want to pump the brakes.
Yeah, I mean, there's a certain point where, you know, some of it is we had a lot of very you know, positive like public reaction when we put stuff out, and like that's awesome. But there were also points like, yeah, so we had developers and stuff that play tested and gave us feedback, you know, one-on-one, but also when we took the game around to press and showed it to them, you know, we had them have hands-on time with it. They played it, and then afterwards, you know, we did like an interview kind of thing, and like a few different people played it, and then like one of their first questions was like, so you know, what do you guys want to do to really differentiate what you're doing from Gone Home? And I'm like, you shouldn't be asking. The
game should tell you that.
If that's what you're wondering, then like we aren't pushing ourselves hard enough. You know what I mean? And so the good thing is, I think that when we take what we're working on now, get it polished up to a point where we can, you know, take it out into the light of day, I think when people put their hands on it, they will not be thinking about, well, how is this different? It'll be like, this is a different thing, and let's talk about that. You know what I mean? So we're excited about it. Going to be showing more of it later this year. Let people get hands on it.
Give everyone the elevator pitch for it, because we haven't done that. We're just walking all over this interview.
Hey everyone! Hey everybody! You ever heard of this video game Tacoma?
Point at your thing. There you go. We gave those away in the prize bin last year.
Thank you so much.
No problem.
So Tacoma is a first-person story exploration game that's set on a space station. So it's set in the year 2088, and you are a character that is sent to this space station basically to do a job, like a very like sort of like just kind of do your job, don't worry about what's going on here. And as you explore this station, you're finding these kind of digital records of things that happened to the crew before you got there, and you as the player are able to interact with them, move through the timeline of what happened in these different parts of the station, move yourself through it, and connect all of these threads to effectively, you know, rebuild a picture of like, oh, so this is what led to the station being the way it is. This is why I was sent here. This is what's really going on under the surface. And that's a big part of what the two of the biggest things we pushed on were, last time we showed the game, the whole station was zero gravity, but you used magnetic boots to walk around, and you could like transfer between surfaces and stuff. And like, that's theoretically cool. And it's cool to do and everything, but it requires really big spaces for that to be cool, and like really big huge spaces are not actually great for like making Gone Home kind of like
Intimacy of it,
yeah, and like the density, it's just like that's a lot of floor space. And then the other part of it is like, as we played it, we're like, it's a cool idea, but like it doesn't really talk about what it would be like to be in a situation like this, or how this thing would probably be built. You know what I mean? Because it's like a place that people have to live for like years at a time. I mean, you know, they get like shore leave or whatever, but we're like, this doesn't, we want the player to feel like, oh, I feel like I'm on a space station. I feel like I'm I'm like gravity in ways that I can understand is like relevant here. So one of the big things that we did is we rebuilt the station to be more of like a 2001 style central hub that's full zero G, just like float. You're just free floating around the zero G, and then you transfer out to the arms, to the habitable wings, and you're in like Earth gravity. And so there's this real contrast between like, it makes it tangible that you're like, I can feel how this station is constructed. I'm in the middle and I'm floating, and now I'm walking, and I can contrast like, maybe this is kind of like what it would be like to be on a facility like this, and like I am living that through the character. And then the other side of it is, when we were showing stuff last time, we had those AR scenes, the figures, that were recordings, but for the most part, they were pretty localized. Sort of like, here's a little scene, and B, you're an observer. Like, you're still an observer. You're not like, whatever.
There's not one character who looks over and is like, why is he here? You're like, what?
Yeah, you're not like talking to them and doing, changing what happens. But we have pushed ourselves further to make those scenes much more like kind of robust in terms of there's more characters involved in a single scene, and you as the player, because the cool thing is, so like, part of the what we were pushing ourselves towards was like, we're in a futuristic setting, right? So like, how does this futuristic technology actually affect like what I do as the player and what my relationship to the game is? And so at some point we were like, these are digital recordings of what happened to these characters. Why don't we just let the player have control over like fast forward, rewind? Oh, I think I missed something. I'm going to pull it back and pause, and I'm going to walk over here. Okay, these two things are happening at the same time. Unpause and like give you the tools to really pull all those threads together instead of just like, okay, it's cool that I'm watching like a visual audio diary, but that's all that's happening. It's like, no, this is like in dialogue with how this technology might work and what your involvement with it would be. So anyway, that's the elevator pitch. We just went about 800 stories.
No, I mean, that's what gets me so excited about it, is when you were talking about that fast forward rewind when you were on the one-on-one interview before with me, where even right now, like, are you playing The Division?
I haven't gotten to play it yet.
In The Division, you'll walk through and you'll find echo locations, and you hit echo, and then it's around you, but it's like, it's very localized and it's not moving. You know what I mean? And that's what, like, I always talk about it when I've mentioned it to you or other people who are that fans of, like, it's similar to one of the favorite, I thought, the underutilized part of Arkham Knight of rebuilding a crime scene and playing it back. But again, super small. I can't wait to be there and be listening to this conversation and notice somebody walks away and be like, all right, cool, play the conversation out, stop, rewind, play it, and then just follow that dude. Where does he go? What does he do?
And we have people have told us that there are these really satisfying moments where it's sort of, because like, it basically, the scenes are still localized to a part of the station. So you're like, okay, when I'm in this area, this is what was going on here. This has kind of like a snapshot of a thing that happened there. But it's still like branching enough that, you're like, okay, I'm following these people. We got here. I watched the rest of the scene. I'm going to pull it back and follow those people. And like that moment where you follow them back and you just realize like,
they're sabotaging the space station.
They're
putting rats into the vents.
That is I mean, the rat vent moment. That's a little bit of a spoiler, Greg.
Sorry,
I think you're kind of being a dick right now.
I was looking forward to that moment again.
Just letting you know.
Now I know that there is a rat.
Now we're just gonna have to change the rat vent thing.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to ruin it. Does that mean you get rid of my mocap?
No, that means we add another fucking year on the schedule. Thanks.
No, sorry. Well,
so
if it gets a DeVita.
But those moments of like being like, I'm back at that point. These things have like reconverged, and like just having that kind of like light bulb moment. It's really cool to see. So, still a ways to go, but we're excited about the stuff that's been going on in the background.
Sure.
What is Kevin like?
I don't know. What are you eating over there, Kev?
Got into some of the Morios? No, Cheetos.
Are they hot Cheetos?
Are they flaming hot?
They don't have it here. Just talking to you, Mike.
These are really good, though. I haven't had like regular Cheetos in a long time.
Yeah.
You guys want some?
Because you only eat hot
No,
Cheetos
I'm good.
exclusively.
Oh yeah.
He does only eat hot Cheetos. Did you see that article the other day about the invention of hot Cheetos and the guy who did it?
No.
It was a really inspiring thing where the at the corporation or whatever, the CEO put out like, everybody's part of this team. We're all collaborative here, and I want ideas and stuff and da da da. And I'm gonna get some of this wrong. I believe he was just a maintenance worker or whatever.
Wow.
And they fucked up some Cheetos that day, and they had Cheetos that had none of the powder on them. They made too many. So he took them home and put them down, and then he had like a hot sauce there. and he put some spice on him, and it was really good. And so he brought him in, and he put together a presentation, and he got a suit, and like they fucking did it and took the idea and like used it and ran with it.
Well, when you
That's awesome.
find gold like that,
Yeah.
it behooves you to actually take the idea.
Yeah, I'm waiting for Kevin to come up with the idea for Kind of Funny soon.
I hope that guy got to benefit from that aside from a shout out.
He got an article written
I know.
about him.
Well, there's an article.
All the flaming hot Cheetos he could eat in an article about him.
You've watched The Wire?
No, I haven't.
The Showtime show?
HBO
HBO
show.
show,
but
excuse me.
Yeah. You've watched it.
Yeah.
So there's the whole thing in the first. Okay. Hey, what are you doing?
It's-
Watch
I know.
it.
I'm busy.
And then the whole thing in the first
All these
season.
Supergirl episodes aren't going to watch themselves.
They won't.
I don't know about that.
There's that conversation in the first season where he's talking about the guy that invented chicken nuggets. Mr. Nugget is like stuck down in the basement. Do you remember this?
No, I don't remember
It's
that.
one of the guys on the corner is basically it's D'Angelo, I think. Yeah, is saying like there's a conversation where they're eating chicken nuggets and one of the kids is like, whoever invented these must be rich. And the guy's like, no, that's somebody who works in the basement of McDonald's. He came up with them. They're like, nice work. Come up with something else, Mr. Nugget. So I hope that guy actually is not just
not
Mr.
Mr.
Nugget in the
Nugget.
basement. He's not just like, okay, I guess I'll go back and keep
All right, back
doing
to being a maintenance guy.
now.
Thanks, guys.
That's cool though. I mean, that is awesome. That was somebody who wasn't like, I'm a food scientist. How do we maximize
Exactly.
this?
Is
Yeah,
it
yeah.
weird that I think that everyone that works at the Cheetos factory wears like a white coat, but then is always pissed off when they get the Cheeto
dust
marks
on
on
them.
the
They got
white
dust
coat?
on them. Yeah, because Kevin's lifting up his filthy little paw covered in Cheetos dust right now, and then he slams it on his pants.
On his white pants.
Where did you get those all white skinny jeans?
I licked my fingers first.
Great. I'm
Now,
glad I
here's-
touch all of your
Here's the
equipment.
next thing I'm going to toss out.
Yeah.
You get sick a lot, Kevin.
Yeah.
I don't get sick a lot.
Are you
does.
sick right now? Or were you sick last
No,
2 weeks ago?
I was sick last week.
No, yeah.
It was last week.
Do you do a lot of licking your fingers, then
He
touching your pants,
does.
then licking your fingers again?
I certainly do.
He likes to also touch like park benches and bus benches and
Yeah.
just pretty much anything he has little hands on.
I
He likes to just put 'em
was
on.
walking back to the place I'm staying last night, and I was on Valencia Street, and I dropped something, and it rolled like just like off to the side or whatever. And I got down, like I crouched down to like find it, and I had that moment where I put my hands down, and I was like. I just put both my hands on all of Valencia Street sidewalk. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm not
Touching. or
I'm
doing
going to
anything.
the closest place that has soap and water right now.
Bad idea. Bad idea. But if you live through it, you become stronger.
Exactly. I mean,
That's
it's,
what it goes.
it's great for
You just-
your immune system.
It is.
Yeah. It took me one Comic-Con. It was like my second Comic-Con, I think, for IGN, where
Yeah.
I woke up and like couldn't speak in my throat, and I was like, never again. And ever since then, once you leave the house at a convention, like your hands are biohazards.
So I just realized. So I did a thing just now. So I said I dropped something. I was looking for it. I thought I saw a rat run under a car, and I wanted to see if it was really there. I said the fake part because I was self-conscious, and I was like, no, I was.
You're in a safe place. Kind of funny doesn't
I
judge.
thought I saw a rat, and I wanted to see if it was under there. That was actually why I touched Valencia
See,
Street.
the only reason why I wouldn't do that, and I'm with you on that. I have a morbid curiosity of like critters as well, but I have that fear of like the 80s movies fear when
Where
you
it turns
look
back
under
around?
the thing and it just goes and like goes to your face, and then you lose an
like
eye.
Night of the Creeps, it like jumps out of the dog's mouth into your mouth.
It jumps
takes you
out of
down.
the dog's mouth into your mouth.
Night of the Creeps. Remember Night of the Creeps?
No, I don't.
Oh, you
I
gotta
don't
go
think
watch
I've
Night of
even
the
heard
Creeps.
of this movie.
It's a
wait.
movie where it's like body snatchers kind of thing, where
Yeah.
these aliens crash or whatever, and they all look like.
Was it a
they-
Rottweiler? Was that the dog?
No, it was a super small dog. It's
Shit.
all these little wormy alien
And so
creatures.
they take over.
They jump
living
into
creatures.
your mouth and then breed inside you, and then eventually you explode. But they also can spit out at people and get in their
Okay.
mouths or whatever. And so at the end, it looks like
Great
they beat
defense
them all, and the girl like who the guy saved or whatever. Like no one's watching Night of the Creeps. I'm not ruining this movie. She like
Night of
kneels
the
down, she's
Creeps
like, "Oh,
spoilers.
you survived! What Portillo?" And it goes blah, and it shoots it into her mouth, and then the credits roll. It's also where that great line. The guy opens the blinds and he goes, "Good news, girls. Your dates are here. Bad news, they're dead."
Oh my God.
They're all, like,
I do
walking
actually
out.
remember that.
Yeah,
That's funny.
That sounds like a good movie.
yeah.
I'm into it.
Tacoma sounds like a good game. See how I brought it all back around?
But that
what
sounded
are you
like an
telling us? Are we
extreme
done?
ice burn. Like you were just like that sounded.
Oh, did it? No, I thought
sounded-
I was like up
No.
like that's how I would like.
No, I
good
thought-
show, ladies.
No,
and
no, you
gentlemen.
were like Night of the Creeps, and I was like, that sounds like a good movie. And you're like, well, Tacoma sounds like a good game.
Oh,
That's
I didn't
what-
mean
that's
like
what
that.
I
No,
heard.
I think
That's
Tacoma's
what I
a really
heard.
good game. You know that.
I know.
I'm fanboy
I know
number
that's
one,
true.
brother.
No,
how
I
many,
know that
how
that's
many of
true.
your fans got walls full of arts and crap at home?
Probably one or two,
God
but you're
damn it.
like the best.
Thank you.
One.
We had Max Landis over the other day for a podcast. You know this guy? Writer?
I mean, I know of
director.
him.
Okay. And he
not
was
like we
talking about
hang out.
Firewatch. He just played Firewatch. He
Yeah.
was disappointed in Firewatch. And I was like, well, Firewatch is one of these games that's a lot like this game Gone Home, and you need to play Gone. Yeah, I haven't played Gone Home. I'm like, you got to play Gone Home. You got to play Gone Home. And then he looked at the wall. He's like, oh yeah, Gone Home. He's like, what is this other thing from? I'm like, nothing. Don't worry. Nobody say it. I was like, nobody say anything. So he knows kind of, but he doesn't know.
Yeah, right.
And then I think I asked you for a code that I then gave to him.
Oh, really? Nice.
There you go.
All right.
I'm doing it. I'm doing God's work.
Spread the word.
It's
the gospel.
One code at a time.
Exactly.
I saw a movie. Oh my God! It's
Ghostbusters. Ghostbusters 2.
Ghostbusters.
Man of Steel. Superman 1.
No,
Superman 2.
I think that it's
Trying to help.
I think the title is Return of the Living Dead. I'm
Oh,
almost sure.
fuck. Yes.
Yeah.
Return of the Living Dead. Me and Michael Rosenbaum love this movie. Yes.
Yeah. So you know all the shit.
Do
So-
you want to party? Boom, ba-dum. It's party time.
Yeah.
They just play that song over and over again. You're like, is this the only song you could afford?
Yeah. No, I mean that's as far as like Night of the Creeps just made me think about.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
movies that are like. So Return of the Living Dead.
Yeah.
I didn't know about it. A friend of mine brought it over and we watched it last Halloween. Do you know about it?
No, I mean I've heard them talk about it. This is the one that's not a Romero film, right?
Right.
Exactly.
And it's
so they took it in a totally different direction.
And it's like a kind of like punk rock, like it reminds me of like Repo Man,
Okay.
but with zombies.
Okay.
And it was written and directed by the writer of Alien, the first Alien movie.
Oh.
And it's a crazy movie. It's good. It's really trashy, but actually good.
Yeah.
Like it's like in the first 20 minutes, there's one of the female characters just like likes to take all her clothes off and she's naked for most of the movie. It's like
Yes.
it's not a classy
but to
movie.
avoid the
exploitative.
NC-17, they had to give her a pasty for her vagina.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
So she
what are
looks
you
like a
gonna
Ken
do?
doll.
A little bit.
Just like, you know.
And so
That's freaky.
But yeah, written
Yeah,
by
I know. Wrap it up. Shut up, Kevin.
written by the writer of Alien, and you can kind of feel it because like so that movie was the movie that established that zombies want brains. Like it was the first movie where zombies are like brains, and then it became a thing. And it's because like the weird thing is you can really feel it because the whole movie is about like the plot of the movie is based around like basically going through the steps of how a zombie works and how it becomes a zombie and then what it wants after it's a zombie and like
Yeah.
why and stuff. And it's like, oh yeah, Alien was about the life cycle of how does this alien work and what stages does it go through. And then you really see it in this movie, but it's
Right.
also this weird, ridiculous punk rock, like, you know, midnight movie kind of like
I gotta watch
B
this movie.
movie.
Everybody go watch it.
The soundtrack is fucking good. It's a weird movie and it's totally worth watching. Yeah.
Probably like Tacoma will be totally worth playing when it comes out this spring. Right?
Next spring.
Well, I guess it is still this spring. You know what I mean? I'm thinking already so far
Spring
ahead.
2017.
You're wishing
No, I'm thinking
was
that
sooner.
I'm thinking that we're already in spring. It's already popping here.
Right.
When
Well,
it comes out next year.
it's
all right?
March.
A year from now, Steve Gaynor's gonna be back here. We'll be talking about this game. We'll be saying it'll be out in the fall.
We'll be
that's the spoilers.
Now that's just being a hater.
It's just being a realist about game development. Steve, thank you for coming by.
Absolutely. Thank
I
you
love
for
you
having
very
me.
much.
It's
It's always
always
a
great
pleasure.
being here.
I'll shake your hand as well.
Thanks everybody.
Thank
It's a lot
you.
of fun.